Unpack your very own web company and add online solutions to your business arsenal instantly with no prior knowledge of the internet and zero additional staff. Make the highest profits in the industry and focus your attention on selling and business growth rather than programming and development staff. Our company is the only full-service website business support system in the world. You provide the clients and we do the rest. Best of all, you get all the fame because with our business model, your business is branded as you, so nobody has to know about us. But to understand exactly how revolutionary our system really is, you might need a bit of background knowledge on the web development industry. The world before our technology. So how was a website built before our solution? It usually started with a client deciding they need a website. Those that cared about their brand usually went to their advertising agency as the first point of call. The ad agency then had their graphic artist design the website concept for the client. The graphic artist usually had very little experience designing for the web though. Once the design was approved by the client, the designer would then send the artwork to a web development company to have the job quoted. The web development company would then work with the designer to work out what would actually be possible so that they could quote the job and take into account the entire web development process. This process included paying an internal designer to adjust and then cut up the graphics that were supplied by the advertising agency in preparation for turning the design into a website. Paying a programmer to search through a sea of potential open source code to find a starting point that best suited the project description, then paying that same programmer to alter the code significantly to suit the specific requirements of the advertising agency's client. In many instances, the client would then request that the content on the site be editable by their in-house marketing department. So the web programmer would then need to make certain parts of the site work together with a CMS or content management system. Often, a web company would also use offshore labour to try to minimise the costs, sending work to places like India or China, where commonly many hundreds of developers that didn't always speak the best English or do the best job would work on their project. The web company then also paid a CSS and XHTML expert to make the design look right and then plugged the site into the code that the programmer had written. While this was happening, on jobs that could afford it, there could have also been a user interface architect who made sure that the site was usable by visitors and that certain things were in the logical position for users to find easily. Someone from the web company would then register a domain name, transfer the domain name settings or DNS, set up a hosting account, upload the code and design to the server and then test the site for bugs. The web company then needed to train the advertising agency on the content management system so that the advertising agency could then train the client. But remember, none of this has actually happened. This was all just hypothetical so that the web company could quote the client accurately to possibly eventually get the job. Every step of the web development process was slow and complex, and all of these expensive professionals combined to make the quote to the advertising agency a little higher than expected. The advertising agency would then try to work out a way to make some profit and finally presented the overpriced quote to the client. In shock at the expensive price, the client usually decided that going to an advertising agency may not have been the smartest idea to begin with. So the client would try their luck approaching a few web companies directly to save money. But the web companies didn't work out much cheaper either, because generally they were offering the advertising agency a wholesale rate. At this stage, you would probably hear these dreaded words come out of a close friend's mouth. "My son is a web developer, he'll do your site for half the price." "My son is a web developer" usually translates roughly to "my son works for a web development company" as part of a team of thousands and would try to build your site in his spare time, meaning your 6-week time frame is now stretched out to 3 or 4 months with not much to show for it at the end, leaving the client back at the advertising agency thinking, maybe $20,000 is not that expensive after all. Warning, warning, warning. This is not the way the web development industry was meant to be. Technology got too complex too quickly, and instead of finding solutions, we jammed more and more people in the food chain, making web development too expensive with very little margins. While all this was happening, over the last 5 years, a small group of savvy businessmen saw this deadly pattern and decided to do something about it. They pulled together the required team and started redesigning the web industry, automating as much as possible and focusing workers on the development of tools that could be used forever, rather than once-off custom systems that couldn't be replicated. They realized that whilst every site ever created might be different from the other, there were certain features that were the same in every site, and for everything else, they could make bolt-on or removable options. They came up with a platform that wouldn't require any coding or programming to build websites, but could accept it if the users were experienced enough in this field. On a business level, they identified that the reason there was no major website retailer in the world was because people were creatures of habit, and because most lacked the understanding of the web, they would rather approach someone they trusted or were familiar with over someone who might necessarily be more qualified. Plus, the retail price had to be attractive enough to those that wanted to grow with their websites rather than grow into it. It was for this reason that our company was formed. We designed the perfect website system that can literally plug into almost any design that you can think of without the need for any people that were required in the old development process. Our unique business model simplifies the website business without losing any functionality. It allows anyone to add websites to their business offering without any prior knowledge of the internet. Now businesses can use their existing client database to sell websites with huge profit margins and service their clients with love. But don't worry, we're not putting anyone out of a job, because even those in the old chain of events can still benefit. For example, if you're a graphic artist and you have a client who wants a website, simply upload your Photoshop file and within 7 days your finished site is delivered back to you, ready for your client. If you don't have a graphic artist, we'll do it for you. You don't need to worry about briefing us on the job, because our system is so flexible that you can drag and drop your client's functionality into their websites in minutes. If you're the web company owner, it's now cheaper for you to outsource all of your work to us and focus your team on sales. Or if you want to stay in control of your CSS and XHTML, then you can use our system for free and at the very least get rid of a large majority of your website programmers. Most websites today are built off an open source platform. Open source is a whole bunch of standard code that website programmers start with and then build on to add customized features to each client. These sites are traditionally uploaded on multiple hosting accounts, meaning that every web developer has multiple versions of the same code in hundreds of places. The problem here is that the programmer then needs to charge the client for regular updates as global standards change in the internet space. If Google releases an important security patch, or as internet browsers require more advanced coding, every single site that the web company has ever built needs to be updated. This is physically impossible. Our software is one of the most advanced in the world, and it works off a central location, which means every website ever built with our platform is updated the minute we change the master system. No updates required by the web companies, which means more of their time focused on sales and customer service. So whether you're simply a sales outlet, a designer, or a coder, we are your #1 web solution. Our sites are designed with click and drag technology. Clients can now insert and edit menus, text and media themselves instantly. There is no coding required, so editing content is as simple as using Microsoft Word. This means web retailers can now pass the task of website management over to their clients. Our CMS has over 60 interactive modules for clients to customize their website, including video, audio and image galleries, newsletters, shopping carts, customized widgets, news and blog systems, forums, members login areas, banners, contact forms, private content, and even built-in maps module to save you manually copying code and pasting it. Take a slice of a multi-billion-dollar industry. Our resellers are able to sell both websites and search engine optimization. Our company teaches resellers how to sell best practice search engine optimization strategies that actually work. Our resellers hit the ground running with a portfolio of our work to claim as their own and a huge list of successful testimonials that will make selling websites a breeze. An alliance with us provides existing businesses and entrepreneurs with the tools, support services, infrastructure, and industry expertise to sell advanced, quality-assured online solutions. It is the ideal add-on for existing businesses to sell web services without having to manage a creative studio or have the expertise in web development. Our company provides the technology and the very simple training to get you selling websites fast. With flexible business models, you choose how to operate and utilize our support services to enhance your business strengths. Whether you're a web programmer, a designer, a sales marketer, a startup company, or a global brand.